This is the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS show with John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS show. Opening night tonight, 2 games here on the DraftKings main slate. Grande, we are all the way back. It is NBA season. It is our favorite time of the year. We basically do all the other sports for busy work, preparing ourselves for the NBA season to come back around. So all of the NHL, MLB, NFL content that we put out during the year, it's really just to get us back to this point because nobody loves the NBA more than you and me here at Fantasy Alarm. Well, Iggy Gilbert loves the NBA as well. Got to give him plenty of props for that as well. I'm excited to get things going, man. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I guess it's hard to, compare us on a scale to other people who love the NBA. It may or may not be subjective depending on who you talk to, I definitely love the NBA. You definitely love the NBA. There's probably some people that love the NBA as much as us, possibly.
Sure.
Howard Bender, he loves the NBA. He's raring to play some lineups.
Dude, he's already asking. He's like, who are the top dogs today?
Yeah, who is the top?
Got a lineup to play,
And there are some dogs. Cutie Snipers in the chat. The man I call Snipe. He's going to see us at the top. I agree. I'd love to be there. He loves the NBA. He was like one of the first commenters on our inaugural NBA DFS video. But I'm feeling great. It's not only that it's back, John, it's back on NBC and like the original Round Ball Rock and the song and the whole, it just feels bigger. And like for all the people that, hate on the NBA, the NBA is dying. They just signed like a $7 billion multi-year deal. They're doing just fine.
Yeah.
So we are back. The NBA is back. This is a lot of fun. And, I'm excited we're here. It's only 2 games, but, like it is every year, it's only a 2-game opening slate, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, let's get into it. Again, if you guys have any comments or questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. Happy to bring those up and answer them for you. It doesn't have to be DFS related as well. I got sleepers, prize picks, and underdog plays out over on Fantasy Alarm. Iggy Gilbert's got his best bets. Mark Lamey's got his game predictions out there for tonight. So if you guys are looking to make some money outside of the DFS streets, there are plenty of ways to go ahead and do that as well. Grande, we did the preview show game by game. Do you want to stick game by game or do you want to go position by position?
Yeah, let's do game by game.
All righty, we'll go game by game. We'll start off with the Houston Rockets, OKC Thunder. The Houston Rockets going out with the largest starting lineup average height-wise of all time.
Yep.
Amin Thompson at point guard, standing like 6'7", 6'8". Kevin Durant's probably 7'2", but they got him listed at 6'11". He's your shooting guard tonight. Jabari Smith, also 6'11". He's your small forward. Alperen Sengun, they say, is 6'10". He's probably 7 feet. He's at your power forward. And Steven Adams is your center tonight, also listed at 6'11". That guy's over 7 feet tall, probably. So, largest average starting height tonight. How long can that unit be on the floor together today against the Thunder?
I mean, they were good last year. They were really good. And they leaned on it a lot in the postseason in that Warriors series. And it worked. The Golden State just didn't have answers. I know Golden State ended up winning the series, but Golden State just didn't have answers for that lineup specifically. You bring up a good point. It's going to be a tough thing to see long stretches of time. If I had to guess, Steven Adams is low 20 minutes type of play, where Sengun is the guy that's obviously extended. But everyone else in the starting lineup should probably play in the 30s. Where does Clint Capella fit into this equation as well? Like, how many of the double big minutes are including Clint Capella? Like, is it solely based on Steven Adams? Because, Adams and Capella are similar. Like, they're going to set a good screen. They're going to crash the glass. And that's really and they're not really leaving the paint very often. So yeah, I mean, it's an interesting starting lineup for sure, an effective one during the preseason. And honestly, it protects Reed Shepherd a little bit, right? Because like there would be a lot on Reed Shepherd's plate if he entered game number 1 in OKC as the starting point guard. When like this team and its expectations are like, we just got Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
We want to contend for a title, right? And losing Van Vliet, that's large shoes to step into. So I agree with the decision in this game. I mean, we're gonna see OKC run out double big as well, with the Chet Hartenstein double big lineup. So Ime Udoka said it's going to be situational, and situational is here. Very interesting Rockets team on tonight's slate for sure.
From an ownership perspective, if you want leverage on tonight, you just play Kevin Durant, currently sitting around 10, 12%, depending on kind of where you're getting your information from. Most expensive player on the Rockets here as well. 2-game slate, we say it all the time, you almost have to get different and hope it pops to, kind of take down one of these large field tournaments today. Is Durant someone you're actively building lineups around, or are you more sticking with the chalk because a couple of the highest rostered players on tonight's slate are in this game, not on the Rockets? Rockets are generally under-owned tonight, but where are you with KD?
I mean, we said it all last year, and if you're new to NBA DFS or you're just new to DFS in general, there is obvious leverage on small slates with playing the lower owned teams, right? Like the Rockets are the number 1 leverage spot. Just is what it is, right? Whether
it's projected to have like 60 wins this year.
Yeah, and this isn't like where the Utah Jazz is the leverage spot. It's literally a mid-50s win total across Vegas with aspirations of a title. I'm not against playing Durant. I'm not against playing Şengün. I don't think that they're not on the gold or the silver podium for me in terms of spend ups, but I could see one of them cracking the podium, like being in the top 3 scorers. And you and I talk about it all the time. If you have if Kevin Durant is the overall raw points scorer on the slate, then you probably at 10% could win a tournament. So I'm okay with Durant and Şengün. I think there's better leverage at the top, truthfully. And we'll get to that in a few games, or in a few teams, I should say. But yeah, I'm okay with getting to Durant or Şengün. Now, for what that's worth, OKC was the number 1 rated defense in basketball last year, bar none, and they returned their whole team. Now they don't have Isaiah Joe, and they don't have Jalen Williams, and
no Jalen Williams is a big deal
for Durant, especially for Durant, like the Durant matchup. Now we're going to see Lou Dort, we're going to see Caruso, we're going to see, I'm sure, Chet. We're going to see an iteration of defenders. Kevin Durant, that he got used to playing in the Western Conference for all these years.
Not that that's ever really bothered Kevin Durant.
No, it's like when people said like Dirk missed the fadeaway. It wasn't because of defense. It's just because Dirk missed. Like
just because he missed. Yeah,
Durant's 7 feet tall and is just able to get off any shot he wants. So, if you want to go to Durant and Şengün, it's fine. I think some of the cheaper options are more appealing to me on this Houston team.
Highest rostered player tonight on this Rockets team as of now is Jabari Smith, $5,200. He's got a slight edge over Tari Eason, who's going to be coming off the bench, a guy that you and I, we just love playing off the bench, and probably will love playing him even more this year, given the kind of rearranged composition of what this Rockets team may end up looking like. Jabari Smith's been a guy who, he's gone through it on this team, right? Like, his name has been through trade rumors. He's been benched a bunch of times, how much faith do you have in him opening night as it's a 35% play? Obviously, price point has a lot to do with it on a smaller slate. If this was Wednesday's slate, he'd be like 3% probably. But how much of that exposure do you like? Is this a good chalk or a bad chalk play?
I would say it's okay. He got paid. So Houston is also confident in Jabari Smith, right? So that's first and foremost. I'm good with it. I looked up some numbers. in 141 minutes last year, John, he shared the floor with Alperen Şengün and Steven Adams. Okay. He was a 1 fantasy point per minute player in those 140 minutes in the double big lineup. And now they're going quadruple big lineup.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know why we're calling it double big. They're just running 4 monsters out there.
It's a big team. Yeah.
It's just yeah. So I like Jabari. There's I think a lot of lineups, if you're getting Houston exposure, are going to have one of Jabari Smith or Tari Eason. I think that's largely what's going to happen. Houston is a little shorthanded tonight. No Dorian Finney-Smith, no Jayshawn Tate. 2 players that would definitely play tonight if they were available. And that just shrinks the rotation a little bit, especially in you're in the wing room. So, Tari Eason's going to get backup run at both forward spots. We're going to see him on the floor in a bunch of different iterations of this lineup and this team. He was a 1.1 fantasy point per minute player last year without Fred VanVleet and without Jalen Green, who obviously, are both departed now. So he is the better overall fantasy player. I would feel more confident in cash games with Jabari Smith because I think the minutes are just, we've seen Tari Eason, right? He is a insane player. He is everywhere. He is going hard 24/7, but he's often injured. And because of that, Houston's always kind of tempered his minutes a little bit.
Yeah. I'd say the other thing, and not that we're expecting this, but, the Rockets are 6.5 point road dogs here. If for whatever reason this game was to get out of hand early or something like that, even on opening night, Eason would be someone that would be on the floor generally kind of closing out, any sort of garbage run that happens. Steven Adams is getting ownership love. Again, $4,200 expected to start. We just don't know minutes here, right? Are we confident he plays 25? Where are you knowing that they have Capella also, knowing that they could go back to just a traditional lineup with Şengün and they bring Reed Shepherd in, and now that that lineup switches back around. I mean, of the value on this team, does Adams crack core lineups for you today?
I think the industry's a little too bullish on the minutes. I did not project him at 25 minutes. I think, that's a little too bullish. Low 20s seems to be the case. This has not been the healthiest player in years past. I mean, he barely played a lot of time last year. I mean, he played, and especially during the playoffs, he was able to play, which, is good to see. But with how much, Steven Adams has gone through in the NBA, I'm not confident they're just going to roll him out for 30 minutes on opening night. I would safely project somewhere between 20 and 22 minutes. And I think that's fine. He's a super elite offensive rebounder. What's the one thing the Thunder had problems with last year? Rebounding. That was the one thing the Thunder didn't do great at, is rebounding. Is that partly because half the season they had Jalen Williams at the 5? Yeah, that's obviously a little bit of the problem, but Chet's not the best rebounding 7-footer in the league, and Hartenstein is a good rebounder, but they're going to play him high 20s minutes, and so Steven Adams is fine. Reed Shepherd, now that he's not starting, it's kind of what I said to you yesterday. Not off the bench, it's low 20s minutes.
Yep.
I don't think if he gets hot, you can see a scenario where he's in high 20s. I mean, he had a great preseason. He was obviously a lottery pick a year ago that Ime Udoka has straight up been he's too good to play in the G League, but he was not he was also just not going to crack the rotation here. So now he has to play. If he gets hot, he could play upwards of 20, but GPP is only for Reed Shepherd for me.
From an ownership perspective in tournaments right now, and again, this will update as we get closer to roster lock, more people are buying into a $3,300 Josh Okogie than they are a $4,900 Reed Shepherd tonight.
And it's just for money. Because if Reed Shepherd's $3,900, guarantee you there's 5x the ownership on him.
Honestly, the Van Vliet injury obviously kind of hurt the slate because, well, not hurt the slate, but the algorithms priced up Reed Shepherd as if they expected him to be the starting point guard.
Yes.
If that wasn't the case, Reed Shepherd probably would have been $3,300, right? So
yes.
But okay, talk to me about Josh Okogie then. Do we think you mentioned no DFS? They're down. What was the other piece that they were down there on the wing side? Jayshawn Tate.
Jayshawn Tate, yeah.
Any Josh Okogie interest? Again, it's a 2-game slate. So if you're max multi-entering, if you're building 20 lineups, do you sprinkle in a little Josh Okogie to your lineups today?
If you have 100 lineups, or let's say you were someone who had 150.
Yes.
You're sprinkling in 5%.
5%.
Because like he's a good defensive player and is also like always cherry picking on offense. So like this big lineup gets a steal and Josh Okogie is in the open floor. Well,
sure.
Could he get you 15
down
fantasy
a couple
points?
Threes, who knows, right? Like
15 fantasy points for Josh Okogie isn't out of the realm of possibility. 5 minutes for Josh Okogie is also in the range of outcomes.
Yeah. Anything else here on the Thunder? I mean, Alan Thompson, we haven't even talked about. He's, maybe one of the best players on, not maybe, but one of the best players on this team. He's $7,900 from an ownership perspective, mid-20s today.
Look, this is a guy we're going to play a lot of this year. Ton. And if you want to play him here, he slots in kind of like the rest of the Rockets. He just has the toughest draw of all today. I mean, it's just an impossible draw. Like he's starting at point guard on opening night and has to chase Shai Gilgeous-Alexander around the floor for 30 plus minutes a night. It's just going to be a tough against the number one defense in the NBA last year. They're going to be really good again. If you want to get Alan Thompson tournaments because he wreaks havoc in every situation he's in, sure. Just a tough spot for him to be in. GPP's only for me.
Anything else?
Nope. Let's go to the Thunder.
Going to the Thunder here, where your highest roster play of the slate exists. Isaiah Hartenstein at $5,400. Over 50% of the field is getting to the Thunder Center tonight. Price point, but also if they're going to go super big, he's got to stay on the floor. How much of Isaiah Hartenstein are you playing today?
Yeah, and I honestly, no matter what the Rockets did, I think Hartenstein is a regular season merchant. We've talked about that with like a bunch of people. You see his numbers in the regular season and his averages in the regular season, and then what they were in the postseason are two different players. And that's what it's going to be, because the Thunder realized their best lineup is not double big in the postseason, but it is in the regular season. And he averaged 34 fantasy points in 28 minutes last year. In the regular season, he played 22 minutes a game in the postseason. I expect the minutes to be 28 to 30 in this spot. They're down 2 primary rotation pieces, 3 if you count Nikola Topic as one, because Nikola Topic was last year's first-round pick. So, yeah, I think Hartenstein is a great play. You and I built with him last night, or when we recorded the pre-show to begin with. I think he's an awesome chalk in cash and tournaments. Because on these slates, like I think the Thunder, I don't think the Thunder are obviously the most popular team on the board, right? They have 3 players of 40% or higher. They have
three of the top 4 players tonight are the Thunder. So.
Six players that are 25% or higher, right? That's a lot of ownership on one team. And I this is easily one of the best stackable teams in 2-game slates, or on this 2-game slate. So I like Hartenstein at $5,400 quite a bit. He's a very good fantasy point per minute player. Well over one fantasy point per minute last year. I just shared the data with you before the show, and I put it in the playbook. He was about 1.2 fantasy points per minute on both DraftKings and FanDuel without J-Dub and Isaiah Joe last year. Right? That's elite. 1.2 fantasy points per minute for a guy who's 5,400. No, like, it's not surprising to see him be as popular as he is.
Yep. Just getting to a couple of the questions we have in the chat here. Sid wanted to know our thoughts, Jabari or Draymond. Obviously, we haven't talked Golden State yet, but where would you go with this one?
Draymond. I really like Draymond in this spot.
Then we're looking for a Thunder wing, Cason Wallace or Lou Dort.
I mean, I think that's a perfect segue here. So I was kind of waiting to see the ownership, and there's not even really a competition here. Casey Wallace is not getting any ownership.
No.
I'm surprised to see how much more ownership. I think the ownership probably adjusts if we get the lineup. When we get the lineup, rather. I expect it to be Casey Wallace and not Aaron Wiggins. And I think Aaron Wiggins is getting more ownership because people expect Aaron Wiggins to be the starter.
Yeah.
But I feel like more often than not, we've seen Casey Wallace in this situation. The leverage play is clearly Casey Wallace. The safer play is Lou Dort because he's going to start. He's cheaper. He's been a better shooter throughout his career than Casey Wallace. Casey Wallace, obviously, super good in a lot of different areas. Really good offensive rebounder for a guard. Really good defensively, kind of like Dort. Dort. We just know he's going to start, and he's cheaper than Casey Wallace. So
yeah. I think that's why more people would go to Dort as well on a 2-game slate. They're just trying to find the money.
Yeah.
The Wiggins things I think is a little bit played too. Is just the position eligibility. Like one is a point guard, shooting guard. The other one is a small forward, power forward. So, having some ability to kind of plug in on the wing versus having to fill a guard spot when there are higher owned guards on this slate. The top 3 through the top 4 overall players, like talent wise, are guards on this slate tonight. I think that's a little bit to do with it as well. SGA, you and I thought Luka maybe would be the highest rostered play. Again, there's still time for that to adjust as we get closer to roster lock, but it is SGA with the highest ownership tonight on this team, of the 2 guards there. And then it kind of made a little bit more sense. He's cheaper than Luka, so finding salary savings to build your lineups, people are gravitating to SGA.
Good to quite good at basketball, John.
Good player,
Yeah, he might have had one of the greatest years in recent NBA memory, right? Like regular season MVP, finals MVP, final champion, like
free throw merchant, got it all. It's fine.
I'm not gonna acknowledge anything you just said. But he's very good, and if you want to play him. Now, again, there's leverage to be had at this spend up spot, and it's in the next game. So there's also a case you could probably build with SGA and Luka if you wanted to. But SGA is perfectly fine if you want to go there.
Yeah. Again, ownership wise, he's almost 50%. Hartenstein's over 50% for the Thunder here. Ben chalks in Alex Caruso at $4,600. He's your 3rd highest Thunder play today. He's also over 40%. He was part of the 3 of the top 4 overall rostered players on tonight's slate. Caruso, we know, can come out, give you some good defense, a little bit of rebounding, a couple of assists, maybe knock down a 3. Pricing is fair for a 2-game slate. Is this just like everybody's just sort of playing for the baseline floor numbers for Caruso in this matchup?
Yeah, he's a good fantasy player. He basically a fantasy point per minute without Joe and Williams last year. The minutes are always just the one thing with him that we need to monitor because he's the guy who I feel like fluctuates the most. Like there are times where he's playing 28, there's times he's playing 18, and there's not like any direction. It's just Mark Daigneault, right? That's just Daigneault does that with his rotations. So at least the ancillary pieces. So yeah, I think Caruso's a good play. I think he's a good play. It's a very bad position, small forward, and to like your Wiggins versus Wallace point, like that's why Aaron Wiggins is getting more ownership than Casey Wallace too. I think Caruso or Wiggins rather is a very interesting pivot off of Caruso because if the lineup that I thought is going to happen where Wallace starts and Wiggins comes off the bench for $400 more and significantly less ownership, Aaron Wiggins is a better fantasy player.
Yeah, higher scoring ceiling for sure.
I mean, just in terms of fantasy production last year, 1 point over a fantasy point per minute, and he was 2nd in usage on the team without Jalen Williams and Isaiah Joe. I mean, a team that has Chet Holmgren on it still. Sure. And Aaron Wiggins was 2nd, 23% usage rate, 23.4 without Williams and Isaiah Joe. So I think there is something to be said about like if we go into lock and Aaron Wiggins is still significantly lesser owned than Caruso, that's a way that I would get different than the field, because small forward is a bad position, and there is a pretty significant ownership dip from Caruso to Wiggins there.
Sure. AJ Mitchell, someone that we've kind of talked a little bit about in the past. Another guy that is getting around 10% ownership. Just a punt plays, $3,800, does have some scoring upside. Someone that you look just as a salary saver. I mean, you think about the value plays on this slate. Where does he kind of rank for you when it comes to straight punts? Like him or Gabe Vincent, and
a Kogi.
Yeah.
And Gary Payton is probably the other one.
Yeah, Payton's the other one.
Probably third. I don't love any of them, truthfully. I'm not like full punting tonight, sure. But at least as of right now. Sure. Mitchell's gonna probably get 2 shifts, but like it's no matter how. I heard Hartenstein say this, John, when he was in Denver. No matter how well he played, like he knew he was playing 10 minutes because Jokic was coming back in the game.
Sure.
It's like no matter how well AJ Mitchell plays for 10 minutes or 14 minutes, SGA's coming back in the game. Like it's so that's probably the one downside with AJ Mitchell.
Okay. Clear out some more of these questions before we move on to the next game. Our guy XQT wants to know Steven Adams double. I mean, probably not, but if he plays enough minutes, it's always live, like the rebounding. He's just gonna have some contention with boards with Şengün playing, next to him. But maybe Adams gets some putbacks and scores some buckets. I wouldn't. It's probably a pretty. It's like a plus 500 bet on a double for Steven Adams today.
They own the glass with this lineup. Like they own the glass.
Well, just if he scores enough is the question, I guess.
That's the one. I feel pretty good about the rebounds.
Cam the Man, Hartenstein 8 and builds will be chalk, probably. Hartenstein for sure is over 50%. So
yeah, Aiden's getting solid ownership too.
Yeah. Cam the Man says he has PTSD from the Jazz slates.
I won a Jazz slate last year.
IC3U said he was late to the show. Yeah, we even started it a little early to get people in on time. Still late. Shot like Harden said he's going to have Hartenstein will be in foul trouble.
Shot like Harden. So is he a lefty? Does he like going to certain clubs?
Maybe.
Does he like the off-season food regimen?
Maybe he just means he's just chucking shots,
Okay.
Doing the double step back, don't travel,
Okay, true. It wasn't a trap. I mean, they didn't call
it. Small forward blows. That's why Caruso's chalk. I would agree with you. It's probably why it. And then Kuminga going to start a better play compared to Dre. What was the Dre?
I'm assuming Draymond.
Listen, if Kuminga starts, he's a better player. It's just does Kerr want to play him?
Not better. He's not a better player than Draymond.
He's a better fantasy player.
Better fantasy player than Draymond. Yeah.
Which team is the best to target to get most players from? It looked like the Thunder are your highest rostered play today. So if you want to go with the chalk, play the Thunder. If you want to not go with the chalk, well, we'll talk about that right now as we work our way on over to the Golden State Warriors. Another team that's actually kind of popular. So this isn't your contrarian play here, but Steph 93, Butler 8K, drops down to Podziemski at 66, Kuminga's 59. From an ownership perspective on this Warriors team here today, Draymond is your highest rostered play at over 42%. What are we thinking here?
Yeah, I like Draymond. He was good with Jimmy Butler. He was a fantasy point per minute player last year with Butler. And in that iteration of the team, I don't expect that to really change much here. So I think Draymond's really solid, $5,700. Steph is obviously solid. He has as much upside as anybody in the league, despite the age and, how long he has played. He continues to hit a really good preseason again. So, he's going to be full go, all systems go. Jimmy and Kuminga are expected to play. The Kuminga starting thing is interesting. And I had this debate with, S Penny in Discord earlier. I think Kuminga starting is interesting, but if you've already built and you have to reconfigure your lineup, I probably wouldn't, because it's highly intriguing that Jonathan Kuminga is starting. Obviously, he is, like you said, he is a good fantasy player. He has high octane offense at all times. But there is no guarantee if he starts this game cold that he plays more than 20 minutes. And at 5,900, that's the concern, right? Like, it's the Warriors could play 12 guys, and Jonathan Kuminga is one of the 12 that plays 20 minutes, and at 5,900, you're drawing dead if it's 20 minutes. So I like that he's going to start or potentially start. I know that was the Shams tweet earlier, right? That he said that he could start. So, or they're leaning towards starting him over Horford, but that doesn't guarantee him minutes. I would say the safest bet for minutes are Curry, Butler, Green, and then it's like everything else is like how well everyone's playing. Like Podziemski at 66 should play 30 minutes, but you don't know that. Like if Hield comes in and makes a bunch of shots, they might just play the hot hand with Buddy Hield, right, over Podziemski. And at 6,600, I'm not playing him, especially if Kuminga's in the starting lineup. Where does the priority become for Podziemski at $6,600? Like it's basement level stuff. He's better suited on FanDuel where he's like 5,700. So essentially no interest here on DK. Gary Payton's getting a lot of ownership. He should play a decent amount, especially with Moses Moody out. So yeah, I think we just had the question. From Matt. Gary Payton 3.2. I mean, yeah, he's going to get time. Like he is going to play. No Moody. They've already said Al Horford's going to play 20 minutes because he's old. Those Steve Kerr's words, not mine. He's old. He's playing 20 minutes. They cut Seth Curry to then sign him later on. So, like, they are shorthanded. I actually think we're going to see Will Richard minutes. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if you saw that viral clip today from Kerr and Jimmy Butler talking about Will Richard, but they're like, "Whoa, he's good." And Jimmy Butler's like, "Yeah, he's that boy's going to be really good." But I think Peyton should get decent time, but another very volatile punt play that we don't really know what the minutes are going to end up looking like. But yeah, decent fantasy point per minute guy at 3,200. I don't hate it. Yeah, I think it's fine. I mean, on a team that's not really priced great, like I think the Warriors are too expensive, like largely across the board.
Sure.
Gary Payton obviously provides salary relief there.
Yeah, Draymond and Payton are the two guys up over 30%. As mentioned, Draymond's just over 40, Payton's 35. Then you have Curry, Kuminga, Butler in the 20% range here. How much of Chef Curry do we have in our lineups this evening?
Yeah, you could always play stuff.
Yeah. I mean, is there more to this team that you're interested in?
Jimmy, because the position. I probably don't go. I don't. But I basically mentioned everything else that we need to talk about.
All right. Lakers then. Got Luka Doncic up at the top from a price standpoint on this slate at $11,000. He is still around 40%, so it's not like everybody's just fading him to play SGA. It's just that SGA is getting a little bit more ownership than him because he is $800 cheaper or $700 cheaper. Austin Reeves is your chalk play on DraftKings tonight from this team. He's over 45%. And then DeAndre Ayton's over 30% tonight. There is an interesting value play that you and I have talked about, and you specifically have highlighted, is going to get minutes off this bench. He is Jake LaRavia at 25% right now. For, again, just some more value as a guy that can play a few different positions, especially, again, the small forward position tonight. How are you attacking this Lakers team?
Yeah, I think Luka, if you can get there, is the best play of the slate. The Warriors were really good defensively post Butler trade, obviously, but we've talked about this a couple times. Like they needed to kind of sprint to the finish line to get out of the play-in and still couldn't. And I just don't think that that's what's going to happen right out of the gate for them. I mean, it's an 82 game season. They had Jimmy for 30 games or a little less than that. And they were able to do that. I just don't know what they're going to do to contain Luka really. So for $700 more, I would take the ownership discount on SGA, just kind of figure it out from there. I like this spot a little bit better than.
I felt the same way. I thought the Luka was the cover of our preview show. Skinny Luka, right? In shape, determined. The team is, relatively his here without LeBron. I do have obviously Reeves is a nice counterpart. Ayton's a good little ad for them finally getting center. But I looked at this team, man. I was all in on Luka Doncic tonight. So he's not going to have Eamon Thompson covering him like, the SGA is going to have to deal with all games. So
yeah, I think whether LeBron's there or not, this is Luka's team. But also no LeBron last year, 1.8 fantasy points per minute, 43% usage.
43%. Yeah.
Dude. I'm not sitting here saying SGA only a 37% usage rate without J-Dub last year.
Yeah.
No, those would lead the league in every year dating back to Michael Jordan. Kobe. That was but yeah, 43% usage, 1.8 fantasy points a minute. That's a Nikola Jokic fantasy output with Kobe Bryant usage rate, and you're putting that into one player. I think Luka's the guy that I'm prioritizing here. And if you can't get to him, then SGA is quite fine. Austin Reeves, very good play as well. I think a little bit of a contrarian route is to do Reeves and Luka together. We've talked about that on 2-game slates.
Everyone's playing Reeves, so adding Luka next to him makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah, and I think the more popular pairing naturally will be Reeves and SGA, and you hope you get ceiling Reeves and ceiling SGA, and Luka's just okay. And you can win, but also everything the Lakers do is going to be revolved around those two players. DeAndre Ayton is a good piece here. DeAndre Ayton is not really a good passer and hasn't really developed that. So all of his touches are going to be in action with Luka or Reeves
at the post, and at the rim basically.
Pick and roll, pick and pop, everything off in action that is involving Luka or Reeves, right? Because those players will be on the floor at all times. One of Luka and Reeves, they will never be without both of those players.
You're going to get a lot of Luka driving to the rim and then Ayton sort of just trailing it for the pass as the defense collapses.
Well, I'd be interested to know if it's Luka or Reeves, because don't forget, John, Jackson Hayes, Slovenian national. I don't know if you've seen this, that he is trying to acquire his Slovenian passport to play for them, to play on their national team. And it's his parents and Luka's parents that have been figuring it out. And I find that interesting. So just saying, maybe it's Reeves and Ayton, working on their 2-man game, because apparently Slovenian national Jackson Hayes is bonding with Luka. But yeah, I think Luka and Reeves are great. Ayton's great. You mentioned, and I think you mentioned something that I find very fascinating. I think Jake LaRavia is someone that the Lakers love. And I don't think they would have acquired him if Dalton Connect was who they thought Dalton Connect was, Yeah,
I'm still a little weird on that, because I don't know where the sourness came from Dalton Connect. Maybe it's defensively, but again, they don't play defense. But he shoots the ball really, he's a really good 3-point shooter. So you felt like Redick might draw to him a little bit, but
I think LaRavia is right now a better player, just because Dalton
he's been in the league longer. He's had more time to play.
Right. No, for sure. I'm just saying that helps. That will be the reason I think any of the Connect minutes I think go to LaRavia, and then any of this excess stuff, because they're gonna start Gabe Vincent. Obviously, we've talked about that before. I don't know what Vincent's role is going to be for an 48-minute game. Could it just be a split with Marcus Smart? Do they even need to really do that? Could they play more LaRavia and especially if you have Luka and Reeves in the lineup, you don't really need a small guard like Gabe Vincent, right?
That's where it kind of was interesting to me, because they came out and already said that Vincent's going to start.
Yep.
And yet he's a value play getting just 13%. More people are playing Gary Payton, we know is coming off the bench. We have more people playing other value plays than a guy that we know is starting.
Lorraine and Smart, both getting more ownership, not starting on the same team. Yep. I think it's just because Gabe Vincent has a 0 floor, right? Like he has a Tony Snell game in his back pocket. No offense to Tony Snell, but Gabe Vincent has that. If Luke and Reeves are doing what they can do, there is potential for a lot of cardio for Gabe Vincent. So while I agree, I just think Laravia and Smart are more active when they're on the floor, and obviously Marcus Smart has always been that guy. So I think the Lakers are a little bit intriguing. It wouldn't be surprised me to see one of Smart, Laravia, or Vincent in the winning lineup. I would tend to lean the formers rather than the latter option there in Vincent. But I think the Lakers are highly intriguing. Hachimura is going to start. 5,600 is probably a little too expensive for me.
Vanderbilt's getting about 15% ownership as well.
Yeah. He's another one.
Just a guy people are fitting into lineups because he's $3,900.
Yeah. Honestly, I'd just rather the eligibility for Laravia is better. I would rather just pump that. Sure. I know they are Laravia is more popular,
cheaper, and they're playing them. Yeah,
but I would rather play basically in every scenario play Laravia over Vanderbilt.
Charlotte Hardin says he doesn't get the game totals for tonight. They're 224, 227, I think they are.
Yeah, it's up to they're both up to 226 and a half. Houston, OKC 227 and a half. OKC giving 6.5, and then 226 and a half. Golden State 2.5 point favorites on the road.
He's essentially saying he thinks the under is probably coming in on that Thunder Rockets game with the way they play defense against each other. It's
very possible.
Definitely possible.
It's also elite shot makers in both games, so it could also just defense might not matter.
Charles saying, "Yo, IC3 wants to know, will Ousmane Dieng get some run tonight?"
I think Jang will be in the lineup. Ousmane Dieng has been a weird one because he is good when he plays. They're going to play a bunch of guys. I just don't see how he plays enough. I know they're down. I know he played a bunch in the preseason, but he played a bunch in the preseason because they didn't really play a lot of their guys. So, he could. They also could play Brooks Barnheiser over him, and that wouldn't surprise me. I know you're a multi-enterer, so if you're playing 100 lineups, have 1 or 2 shares, but I would almost be surprised in a competitive game if he played double-digit minutes.
You're playing Jimmy or Steph if you have to pick one tonight.
I mean, if I have the option, it's Steph. If salary is not if salary here is not an option,
$1,300 difference on DraftKings between the two. I don't know the FanDuel difference on price. So,
that's why if we're taking salary out of the equation, the price is $100 difference on FanDuel.
So it could be more of a FanDuel question. They're obviously different positions. No util there, but no money involved. You're playing Steph.
Yeah, I would say Stefan DraftKings. The FanDuel one's interesting, like you said, because positionally you can get to SGA and Luka on FanDuel.
Yeah.
So on FanDuel, I might lean Jimmy
because you need to play two.
Because you have to play. Yeah, I mean,
small forwards.
Yeah, you're required to play 2 over there. Yeah. If it's a FanDuel question, Jimmy. If it's DraftKings question, Steph. Salaries still matter.
I don't think he means Gabe. He probably means Peyton, I would assume, on this one. Peyton hurts Steph.
No, there's this. We had the comment on the
Did you miss it?
Morning show too. That people think that it's remember when people thought Deladova was the Steph stopper, and he just
are they thinking that Gabe Vincent's going to defend Steph Curry? Is that what?
Yeah, that's yeah.
I'm not. No,
right.
Okay, no.
And that I would say
I'd be more worried about Marcus Smart coming off the bench and guarding Steph Curry for the rest of the game than Gabe Vincent.
Yeah, like I think individual defense is hard to predict anyway. Like it's a very hard thing to predict. Like I can tell you definitively, Amen Thompson is going to guard Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, right? But I can't tell you any.
Probably guarding Kevin Durant, right?
Yeah, but like everything else is like totally. I mean, every team switches, and every team is like like mismatch, like hunting matchups and stuff, right? Like you're setting a screen to hunt a matchup that you want, so it's hard to like really care. And Sid, I'm playing both on FanDuel.
Yeah, you can. If you play both Luka and SGA, plug those in right away. You still have $5,300 left per player, so you can definitely fit them both in. Rob says, every evening, everyone, let's get it. Yeah, let's get to building a lineup here, Grande. Those of you who are tuning in, we build a core lineup for you guys. We put the full lineup in our Discord. Discord is free to join. If you want to become a Fantasy Alarm family member right now, we have a 20% promo going on. FantasyAlarm.com/NBA20. You can scan that QR code up in the top left of the screen. Use promo code NBA20. That'll take 20% off both the monthly or the annual subscription package. If you do the annual sub, it comes up to about $19 a month. If you go the monthly, it's like $31. So a massive discount signing up for the year. And it's not just the NBA content. It gets all of the content. NFL, NBA, MLB next year, like the whole works. Get it for a year and everything that goes along with the site. So FantasyAlarm.com/NBA20, promo code NBA20 at checkout. We'll take 20% off that for you guys. Also, if you want to become a member of the Fantasy Alarm YouTube channel, you click that join button right there. And that will give you a whole bunch of perks, give you question priority, answer your questions first while we're on the stream. You get some cool badges, some cool emojis to use. And we've been throwing out some ideas if we get enough members to do some member-only streams, some member-only chats, some member-only content. So definitely a big advantage to becoming a member of the Fantasy Alarm YouTube channel there as well for just $4.99 a month. All right, Grande, core play time. Where are we starting things off? You mentioned you did want to go Luka.
Yes.
So we'll start with Luka.
Hartenstein.
Oh, well, do Luka as the guard, or you're going to make me move this around? Where am I planting Luka in this lineup?
It doesn't matter. Just make sure the util is properly utiled.
All right.
You're gonna
make me move this around. So
I mean, at least you know me all too well, John.
We probably want to go Laravia, right?
I like Laravia. I like the fit. I think he's gonna play a bunch in LA.
Okay.
Warren,
what's up, Warren?
You know what? Shout out to Warren. Can't ban him in basketball because he won't come with this garbage.
We can talk DVP though. It's not the same, but it's
no, DVP doesn't get me as much as BVP does because like BVP is the worst stat in the history of life. Okay. So he can't affect me here. So I guess he's here for a long time. Not a.
Are we running Tari Eason or Jabari? What do we want to do?
Yeah, we could do either. I mean, Tari's the better fantasy play and probably just better eligibility. So
okay. We're at 6,200, almost 6,200 to play. Point guard, shooting guard, power forward, utility, depending on how we kind of move these guys around. What's our last plug before we end and put the full lineup in the Discord? Who's the one guy that's not in our lineup that you want to include in yours here, Grande?
It's probably one of Caruso or Aaron Wiggins. And I've kind of said earlier, I think because the ownership is higher on Caruso, I would pivot to Wiggins because I think he's the better fantasy player. Sure. And I think they profile similarly in terms of minutes. Like I don't think either of them play like 30. So I'm going to go Wiggins.
Okay. Well, then we'll leave the guards and utility position open for the show, but the full lineup will be in our Discord. So you can click the Discord link that's in the description of the show. You can go to fantasyalarm.com, create a free account, and there'll be a Discord button in your profile. You can connect there and get access to tonight's full lineup.
Look at this guy. He's banned. He's banned. I take it back. He's banned.
We appreciate you all tuning in. We'll be back with a preview show for tonight for the big Wednesday slate. This is like the appetizer.
Yep.
The full meal comes tomorrow. So we'll have that. We'll answer Warren's question where we're at with Jabari. What do we got for Jabari?
He is currently in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. No, Oklahoma City. Yeah, Oklahoma City.
You're trying to, where is he? Yeah, that's where he is. Where are we with him on tonight?
Yeah, we like Jabari.
Ownership's on Jabari too. He's shocking.
Yeah, we just pivoted to Tari. I think Tari's a little better of a fantasy player. I shouldn't say that. He is better overall, and he's a little less owned. So if you want to play Jabari, I think I said earlier he's the safer play. Jabari is safer. Tari has a higher ceiling.
So again, full line will be in the Discord. We'll have the preview show tonight. We'll go back live again tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern time, to break down the big Wednesday slate. Good luck, everybody. Catch us in the Discord. Win some money tonight.